what's up, Skywalker? I'm here with Imagination Creation Films, and today, well, it's October the 29th, 2021, and the only reason I say that is because you may not know. You may not even know that that today is October 29th. And so, I want to be that date keeper for you, that person that always helps you out of a bind, and you're like, I wonder what day it is. And Scott says, It is this day. So what is going on, you glorious, wonderful people? I hope everyone is feeling well today. It is a different time and a different era for me, and we'll just see how this goes. The main difference, the main era change here is that I'm taking a break from pretty much all social media, with the exception of YouTube. I'm going in more strongly into the tubes of you. So I didn't post this on Facebook. I didn't post this on Instagram or Twitter, and I'm interested to see how this works, how it does, because Facebook has been, it's been a thing, and I love talking to people and everything. It's not the issue. It is the consumption, how much it has consumed me. I get up in the morning and I spend hours on social media, and some of it is talking with friends and sharing and helping others, but a lot of it isn't. A lot of it is just combing through the blah, and I don't think that's healthy. I don't think that's good. And it was starting to affect me in ways that I didn't particularly care for at all. So I am taking a break from it. So if you don't see me on the social medias, don't think I don't care. Don't think I'm not out there. I'm here. I'm right here on YouTube for your afternoon drive home on Friday afternoon. That's right. Today it's 72 degrees and it's a wonderful day out there. It's a little windy, so if the internet goes up and down, it's because of the wind. That's right. That's how you talk as a radio announcer. You talk through your nose. It's weird. So, wow, there's lots of people out here. Luca, hello. Luca, how are you? Rusty Angle, I like that. Hello there. Glad you're taking a break. Thank you. I appreciate that. Frosty, hello, Frosty. How are you, buddy? Fitzgerald says social media breaks are healthy. You are correct. They are quite healthy. And I have not touched it. I just let everybody know they can find me on YouTube's. I might change. I don't know. I'm really interested in seeing how this live stream goes. Because I might change one little thing where I just go over there and post that I'll be live streaming on a Friday or whatever. Because I wonder how many people come from Facebook to here, and then how many people are here. Because I like everybody. Don't get me wrong, but this is my community right here. That one right there. That one right there is my community. And it's a community that I am building with you, that I have control over. I have the destination where we go. I put out a video when I am ready, and you may or may not know about it when you're ready. Depends on how YouTube feels. Do definitely check the little alert box and all notifications and all that good stuff so that you can be aware when I live stream. Because like Facebook, you might post something, and I know several of my friends that, like people that I talk to daily, they might see my post 2 days later. Well, how is that helpful? How, if I'm talking about something that's on topic for today, is like, oh, it's windy out there today, and they get it 2 days later, what purpose is that? What benefit is that to the consumer? And that's kind of why I'm doing it. So I may post over there that I'm posting here, but I'm not interacting on there. I will be on some messengers not the Instagram one. I'll be on Facebook Messenger if you really need to get in touch with me that way. Or you can email me. There's emails below. You can text me if you have my phone number, all that good stuff. So I'm here. I'm here for you. And my goal is to do more. Clayton, hello, Clayton. Clayton is one of our associate producers. Fantastic guy, young guy, but absolutely getting his feet in the ground. And that is amazing. But welcome, Clayton. Thank you for being a big channel member. I appreciate that. Frosty Flake says, Frosty Flake says, I don't do social media. And you're probably a lot healthier for it too. Rusty goes, I think I can speak for others here and say that you're not the only one. Yeah, I'm getting it. It was kind of interesting because I the moment I posted it, I left it. I did a couple of things right here, and then I needed to go take my van in to the dealership. And as I'm driving, I was just kind of listening to the news, and they're like, yeah, Facebook has rebranded to Meta. And I'm like, well, that's interesting. I wonder how many people are like, oh, he's not going to be getting off of Facebook. He's getting onto Meta. No, I'm really not. Fitzgerald said, I got the scarf dust filter. Love the diffusion. Soft lens thing softens. That is weird. That's an interesting word. I'm Ted Lassoing it for the moment here. I didn't realize how sharp my glass was until I did an A/B comparison. Yep, that is true. And if anybody's interested, and review is coming soon, but if anybody's interested in what scarf dust might do for your look, see the see the bloom, the nice little bloom around here. It's rather interesting what it does because it keeps the face really sharp. I hope. Last time I wasn't sharp, but I was out of focus. But this time I'm in focus. And let me switch here. See if I can get it's just going to do that posterizing thing. But the face details are really sharp. You don't notice any of the scarf dust going on in the face. You notice it in the atmosphere, the feeling around it. It's kind of interesting. If anybody is interested in scarf dust, you can go to revarscine.com, and if you use coupon code Scott Balcom, you get 20% off. So if you want another scarf, it's funny because there's been quite a few people buy them already, and they reached out and they're like, hey, did you already do your review? I'm like, no. They're like, well, we're getting some sales here. And I'm like, yeah, expect some more because it's a neat filter. Also getting some other ones to try too. This will be fun. Really, Rex? Hi, buddy. Hi, Mr. Clicky. We just did your nails, dude, and you're still clicky. Let's see here. The Ollie Boxster, what's up? What's up, Ollie? How are you, buddy? Oh, he wants to lay down this. So I put a couple of boxes strategically just in the way where he can't lay by the tripod. So we'll see how that works. I bet he just ignores it. Frosty says, V-Raptors arriving this week, at least some. More glass on the way. Very cool. Very cool. Rusty Angles, would you be interested in talking to high schoolers? I'm part of a new media class, and I think you'd be a great guest over Zoom, of course. Yes. Yes, I would, depending on the schedule. But yes. Yeah, I mean, if they're interested in me, I mean, I'm just me. But, I mean, yeah, talk to me about it. Send me an email. And Clayton, I am going to respond. Don't worry. Send me an email and let's work out the details. If the time's lined up, yeah, I'm happy to do that. I've done that before. I did a college class. That was weird. I don't expect, I don't expect that. That's weird, but yeah, I'm happy to do it. Yeah. If they think it'd be interesting, yeah, all right. Rusty says, that's cool, Fitzgerald. I knew you were using it. I was going to say you should have said that because I'd have given you little virtual claps. By the way, for all of you people out there with memes, this is the sound of one hand clapping. See, Fitzgerald says, Ryan at Revar said he told me what's coming next regarding the Scarf Dust filter. I won't say anything, but I'm jumping on that too. Use my coupon code. It'll be here shortly. There's a couple. It's kind of funny. Yeah, Ryan is fantastic. He's a great guy. Just truly one of the best people in the world. And he'll tell you whatever. He doesn't keep the secrets. Not so well, anyway, but there's a whole master set, and I gave him the name that I thought his master set should be, but we'll see. Let's see here. Frosty says, very interesting. Let me cough here. Fitzgerald says, and yes, I definitely used your discount code. Well, thank you. I think you're one of the ones who did. I know that Kevin Kelly up in Dallas, I know he used it too, which I greatly appreciate. Thank you. Ollie says, did you get your MacBook Pro? No. Scott did not get to order his for a couple of days. So I'm speaking third person like George Costanza would. So my order will be here between November 29th and December 6th. So all of y'all who ordered on time, just let me know how great it is and how much you wish that I could play with one and all that good stuff, because it's going to be a while. It's sad. But, you have to wait for vendors to pay sometimes. And, I came really close to ordering the 14-inch. But then I really locked down and started digging. If y'all didn't see my video on Tech Cuts, you should go over to Tech Cuts. And yes, I know I'm live. That's weird for YouTube to say that. Did you know you're live? Yes, I do. A Tech Cuts channel, and I talk about the MacBook Pros, and there's some gotchas in there. There's a few gotchas. So I'm definitely glad I ordered the 16. Rusty Engel says, yes, that's exciting. Thank you. Yeah, talk to me. Fitzgerald says, I wonder how different the follow-up to Scarf Dust is going to look. Did you name? I did not. No, I did not name these. There's three. This many three. There are three right now, and they're hilarious. The second one does start with a P. I don't know if he's publicly stated it. I know he's said it to a bunch of people, but the second letter is A. So we'll just go from there. Just let people just have their own fun. But it also speaks to Ryan's personality and his sense of humor. It's very fun. Frosty says, I have a bunch of orders that will be using your code next week. I'll let you. We're outfitting all those cameras. Do you have a free fly code? I used to. I'll check. I'm not so much in the free fly world anymore because I don't do gimbals hardly at all anymore. I can check to see if I do, but I mean, it's no big deal if you don't get it. I love for people to use the stuff, but I'm not super pushy about it, so it's all good either way. It'll be interesting to see what you get from free fly. At Fitzgerald, it'll be a little different. Gerald says, hello. Hey, yes, sir. Hello, Gerald. How's the cats and the dog and the new Sony FX3? Gerald just got his a FX3, and I know he's excited about it. And I've shot with the FX3, and I own the A7S III. And my honest opinion, and this is weird, and maybe it's biased just from me shooting Sony mirrorless for so long, I don't like the FX3 over the A7S III. I get what it's for, but like the A7S III, you just use dials to adjust everything. And I love that. You can slide and rotate and click and all that. With the FX3, everything is push button. And I don't like that. It's weird. Wow, we get a lot of people on here. That's fantastic. It also tells me that it's not necessarily people coming from Facebook. But if you happen to be on Facebook, put a link to this live stream and throw it out there on the social medias, and you can tag me, And then we'll see if I don't know. We'll see how it goes. KKOG, I still have not a chance to use the scarf dust filter yet. But it's the wrong way. This is Scarfy right here. Little Scarfy right here. You briefly mentioned last live stream that you reviewed the Cinema DFM by Breakthrough. Any insight on when that review will come out? Yes, very, very, very soon. Well, so the Cinema DFM mount. Okay, let's reverse here. So there's Cinema DFM. Cinema DFM is the full-on cinema version of the Breakthrough mount. And then they have their cinema inserts that go in there. I have the photo version. I'm using the Canon adapter. I have used the cinema version when I had the Raptor. So what my review will be on is the glass. So the mount is a mount. You can use the Canon one, which uses the little photo. The cinema one is built stronger, better, and you can secure it to the bottom so you get extra support. That's where the structural and the strength from Cinema DFM comes in. And so if you are using photo cams, the photo adapter might be right up your alley. But if you're going to be using it on V-Raptor or Komodo, or you want that strength, that's where the Cinema DFM comes in. But the review is on the glass itself and the amazing qualities of that glass. Soon. I'm trying right now. I have several deadlines that have to be done. Those are November, but I'm trying to get the V-Raptor out because I have the full video review on it done. I'm just trying to pick and choose from the best of what I got on the footage because no matter what I put out there, somebody's going to go, well, doesn't look that good to me. Sounds like you don't know what you're doing. Yeah, and that's where we become our biggest critics. So yeah, new Blackmagic design panels coming soon. I haven't heard of any. Have you? Are you asking, or do you have a little knowledge? Because the only thing. So I wish I have the micro panel, and the micro panel is great. There's only two things missing from the micro panel that I don't feel like they need a big panel. I would like the add serial node button. I mean, just one more button. And they have the lift gamma gain. I would like the offset. Just give me one more wheel set. So just make it a little bit wider. Charge me an additional $500 for it. And just make one. That'd be great. Micro Plus. That'd be cool. If they did that, I'd sell mine instantly and buy that. I don't need the big one. It's too big. And I definitely can't afford the amazing dump my Bose speaker on my iPad one. I hate this posterizing thing. Gerald says, everyone is well. Good. Okay. I was like, the FX3 is getting a workout for sure. Interesting to hear your take on it. I'm on the opposite side. I love the form factor over the A7S3, especially when rigged up. Interesting. Well, I mean, that's what they say. There's a, what do they say? There's a person for every person in the world. There's a pet for every person in the world. There's a cup of tea for every person. I don't know. I don't like tea. I'm Ted Lassoing that too. By the way, if you haven't seen Ted Lasso, you should watch Ted Lasso. To me, I'm really late on this, really late. Ted Lasso to me is the closest I've come across in a long time to a good quality 80s movie. The 80s movies, they always told a story. They weren't trying to be adverse. They weren't trying to be deprecating. They were just trying to be fun, wholehearted for the most part. There were some, but when you left a good low to medium budget 80s movie, you always felt good leaving the theater. It always had a happy ending. It always had all the fun stuff in between. That's Ted Lasso. And my wife and I have absolutely been loving to watch Ted Lasso. We're only through season 1 now. So we're working on season 2, so don't spoil it for me. But if you haven't seen it, it's great. And that he also shares my belief in tea. To me, tea is just swamp water. Ollie says, Luca, Chan Beats, any good recommendations for wide lenses for Sony E-mount? Are you looking for photographic glass or are you looking for cinema glass? Because that will, and sorry, I've got the sniffles. It just started. Sinuses that we have. That's kind of weird. I'm sorry. It's the wind has been insane today, and I kind of figured that my internet would take a poo, and it's doing okay right now. We're actually at a high bit rate too, so it should look great. I hope it does. If it doesn't, it's you. No, I don't know. But I literally just took a break and listened, and the wind has kind of calmed down. And I was going with that because E-mount. So yeah, Chan Beats, let me know photographic or cinema and your budget, and we'll go from there. Fitzgerald says, I recently bought the digital photo Thanos Pro 2 support system, but it's coming from China, and I have a few jobs this week, so I went to B&H and picked up the Tilt-A-Float because it was a stock. Yeah, that happens. Supply chain is going to be a pain in the rear for, well, probably at least 2 years, my guess, until we decide, we as a collective world, not we America, but we as a collective world decide that we should not sole source everything. I get that there are things that we can get made in China for cheap. We can get things made in India for cheap or the Philippines or various places. Cool. But everything doesn't need to be made everywhere else. Every country should have some manufacturing, and that'll help balance the world out. It'll also help, if you want the world economy, that's the way you do it. Stop sole sourcing. Sole. Interesting. S-O-L-E instead of S-O-U-L, but it's actually sole sourcing. I like that. My plan was to use the float for a couple of weeks and return it when Thanos arrived. I returned it the next day because it was a lower back killer and balancing nightmare. I've not used the float. I only know one person who has, and I have not heard anything positive or negative about it. Interesting, though. I will look into it, though, and see if I can form some opinions based upon. It didn't intrigue me. I don't use that kind of stuff. I will be trying to obtain some type of good easy rig. I think it's time for Scott to go ahead and step on that bandwagon. I would love to do some type of like group buy or whatever, but I don't think Easy Rig does that. So there's nothing I can do for that. So it's going to be a long cash save to get one, but do the best, it's got to be the way it is. Gerald says, Rusty says, it's a very good show. It's easy to watch and fun to watch. And I think that is probably a very good summation of it. Gerald says, agreed, Ted Lasso is a fantastic show. We just laugh and giggle throughout the whole show. And you kind of get those warm little moments where I almost feel like a tear, but I'm sure it's just because I got something in my eye. It's just a good show. It's just a good show. He's looking for photographic E-mount glass. Okay. Photographic E-mount glass. I mean, honestly, when it comes to E-mount, Sigma glass is nice, but I think I would just go with the Sony glass. And depending on your budget, they have 3 lines of the glass. I only own one piece of Sony E-mount glass, and it's their kit lens, the 28-70. I actually really like it. I think it's pretty amazing, especially I bought it used for $199. That is one amazing lens for $199. Their G Master glass, it really is beautiful. I mean, really nice. But it depends on your budget. I'm not a huge fan of the the middle of the road, it's the Zeiss Sony stuff. Not a big fan of that. That's got the metal outsides. But you really should look at the Sony, and you should go try it. See what you can get away with. And if your budget doesn't allow you, don't be afraid to dive into their cheaper kit glass. I think it's okay. Nick says, did you notice how the V-Raptor's monitors just use a USB cable and camera control? Yes, it is very interesting, but it is on purpose. So this is something that I knew ahead of time. I didn't get to play with it. I just knew it. Sorry for the nose. I wish I could. It's just such a habit. The reasons are many. Let me grab my red, and I will explain. This is one that you found it. You turd. Rex found a way to push my boxes out of the way. So he's in the way again. Okay. So let's go top down on this. There we go. So right here, this, if you can kind of see, there is the swivel mount right here. And this is this mount. What's inside of here is a ribbon cable. And it's a thin ribbon cable. And it's coiled like you would coil up, I don't know. I mean, it's, to me, anytime there's anything like a straw wrapper, I coil it up into a little coil. But it's coiled up in there. What happens is people leave the monitors attached like this. And if you look, there's a gap between here. And when they leave them attached, they throw them in their bag and something smashes this way. It breaks this mount right here. And that coiled up cable is a pain in the rear to replace. And I believe the repair cost is $700, $800 for them to rip it apart, replace that cable, et cetera, et cetera. So when it came time for them to collab with Small HD on the, get that pretty red right there. With the monitor, they said, we want, for multiple reasons, but we want a replaceable cable. So the USB-C cable actually locks in. There's a lock that clamps around it. But one reason is the cable can be replaced easily. It is not just USB-C. It is actually using just a cable, but it is not that standard. B, you can now use a longer cable and a longer mount to move it anywhere you want. If you just use the short one on the mount, it's still a wireless connection because the wire is just on the outside. It's still wireless and it just follows it. You just attach it with that. But that's why they did it. But yes, I did. And there was a lot of back end discussion on that. Sorry. Chan Beats, in photography lenses, the Tamron 17-28 is a fantastic lens for the price. Yeah, I've used Tamron in the past. I don't dislike Tamron at all. I find that I like Sigma a lot. However, Sigma doesn't have an ultra wide. No. So yeah, you might look at the Tamron. You could find, no, let's see, you can't. Are you looking for autofocus? Because autofocus, if you're looking for autofocus, just get the Sony. I can adapt any of these lenses to my Sony with a Metabones, and the autofocus works, but it works perfect with a Sony lens. And every other lens I've tried, not as perfect. Chambeats said, need a wide Sony lens for real estate photo and video. Definitely Gerald there, and then if Bill Howard jumps on, who's creative, conscious creative, they're both in the real estate, where although Gerald is less now, and they would both do that. I know I know another person really likes to use tilt shift lenses for that. So I don't think there's a Sony E-mount tilt shift that I'm aware of right now. Tank says, nice channel it is. What sparked your interest into filmmaking? I mean, I've always been a visual storyteller. I loved photography as a kid. I always wanted to do movies. Even as a kid, I would borrow my parents' VHS camcorder. I was old, and I would make little movies and usually with puppets. Oddly enough, go figure. I used to entertain my cousin with puppet videos. So yeah, I just love visual storytelling. I've always wanted to do it, and it took me a long time to be brave enough to embrace it. And it also took a while for me to be able to afford it. Because back when it was VHS or film, and I only really wanted to do film, and I couldn't afford that. So I did photography for a long, long time. Elysium says, thoughts on rehoused glass, Sigma 1835, photos say rehoused at PL. I've been on the fence. So, I mean, I have a friend that works at a rehouser, and they do great work. But my gut tells me, why rehouse when you can have the actual cinema for like $500 more? So this is the 18 to 35. The rehouse, I think it's either $500 or $1,000 less than the cinema version of this lens. Why not just buy the actual cinema version? I don't, back before I understood it. And probably the only one that I would consider, would be the Canon 70 to 200. If I were to ever buy a rehoused, that would probably be the lens that I would buy, because they don't make that lens in cinema. They should. That is such a great lens. Yeah, I don't know. Chambeats, anyone have any experience with the Sony 16 to 35? That's the G Master lens. That one my friend Drew has, and he loves that lens. Drew Geraci, if you don't know him, he's time-lapse extraordinaire. He definitely loves that 16 to 35. But it's expensive though. So if your budget doesn't mind, yeah, anything G Master is pretty phenomenal. Tank says, I bought my used Sigma Zoom for around $50, and it's the best I've ever used. Which Sigma Zoom did you get for $50? That's a heck of a deal. Sigma makes great glass. They really do. Takina makes great glass. And there's a lot of inside baseball. Like Takina made glass for so many other people over the years until they finally said, you know what, maybe we should just come out with our own stuff. True story. Tank says, thanks for the answer and regards from Turkey. Well, hello, Turkey. I think I actually have had someone from Turkey, but thank you for joining here. Favorite filmmakers of yours? Maybe for further question. Define filmmakers. I have a variety of levels of filmmakers out there, and I like to pay attention to each and every one of them. But I mean, on the big side, I mean, Spielberg is always a big influencer of mine. Fincher is absolutely a feature in my brain. But then, like, on the low end, on the YouTube world, Ryan Connolly. I really love Ryan Connolly's work. I can't wait for him to do a feature. It's going to happen. I think he's exceptionally talented, and he's just a heck of a nice guy. Film Riot, if you don't know. Corey Hour. Really, dude? Hello, Corey. Nice setup. You're giving me inspiration to start my own. You should. You should totally do a YouTube, although you would do it for 5 minutes and then be like, nah, I'm in a game. That's Corey Hour. Corey Hour, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know who he is a filmmaker extraordinaire out of California and everywhere else, and he does the hustle. That dude works. He works more than most people I know. And he shoots everywhere and anywhere, all over the place. Good dude. Tank directors, mine is Terry Gillum. Nice. I I enjoy when and I'm really bad at names, so none of these names are going to come to me, but I really love when actors become directors because I think they do a really good job. Um, it's it's uh, it's one of my favorite, like Richie Cunningham. What's his name? I think he's a really talented director. I really think so. Ollie says, "Did you see the new Sony phone with the 1-inch sensor and a tiny lens?" Yes, I did, and it's all right. And it is interesting. It did take some interesting video though, and I noticed that the new DJI Action 2 has a rather large sensor and a tiny lens. I'm not. I mean, I know how that works. I mean, that's not hard because you can actually take it to a point, but I don't know why. Personally, I'm memorized by Dustin Farrell. Oh well, yeah. Dustin is a great guy. I have loved his stuff for a long time. That F-22 video, if you have not seen that, go to Dustin Farrell's YouTube page. Not right now, right afterwards, and watch his latest F-22 video. I've watched that thing at least 10 times, and we talked about it. I was like, I'd really love to see some BTS on that. And he can't show it. There's some inside baseball stuff in there that they don't want to share. So sadly, but Dustin Farrell's stuff, he's got a really keen mind for a lot of things filmmaking, but just the pulling things out in slow motion. And I do love me slow motion. I do. YouTube is cinema's new realm that is to replace the big screen. I don't know. Just like I don't think streaming will replace the big screen. I think the big screen is going to be around. I think it may evolve a little bit, but I think the concept is right. So I'm not sure, but YouTube is an expansion. What I like about YouTube more than any other feature of YouTube is that the little person, I only have $5 to my name, but I have an iPhone or whatever. If they have a slight ability to capture anything, they can get an audience. And that's what I like about YouTube a lot. Like me. I mean, this thing is all for you. I mean, I wouldn't have done it without you. Tank says, on the contrary, I like directors coming from the camera background. Interesting. Chambeat says, excited for Spielberg remake of West Side Story. That one is going to be interesting. I don't know what to think about it yet. It is going to be interesting. Clayton says, hi, Scott. Sorry to step up for a bit. Good to have you back. Vasily, hey, what's up? Ron Howard, thank you. Yes, horrible with names. I mean, truly. I will literally be talking to Steven Spielberg. Not really. This is a fictionalization. Fiction is fictionalization. I could literally be in front of Steven Spielberg, and I go, and I won't remember his name. My wife, we have this little thing where if I don't immediately introduce my wife to a person, she will introduce herself to them and get them to introduce them to her so that I will click to the name. It's so bad, but she's my wingman. She's got me down. Rusty says, so good. I've watched all of his videos at least 8 times. Yep. Even the girls jumping on the trampoline, that one cracked me up, and they kept reporting it over and over again, claiming it was bad. I mean, I get it; it's a little out there, but it wasn't bad. It's definitely only PG. And then finally, he got that fixed. Ollie says, Sir, love Turkey. Oh yeah, I've never been to Turkey, but I've seen. There were a bunch of documentaries on like cruising around Turkey, and it's a beautiful place, and the food is good. Any experience with the Akazan Cine i2S? I ordered one this morning for a shoot where I can't get a Teradek due to availability. Would it be good enough latency? So it all depends. There's two types of wireless out there. There are those that process video and those that don't process video. Process video will introduce latency. Most of that latency is 2 to 3 frames. The question is your AC going to be fast enough? It depends on what type of shoot it is. If you are moving really fast and you're moving around, then it's going to be a problem for them. However, if you're just floating around or you've got some nice scenes or they're just slowly walking, that kind of stuff, no, they won't have a problem with it. It is latency is 100% based upon how fast the action is. For sure, as TV's never gone, cinema will not but shape into a different. Yeah, I think so. I don't know what it'll be, but there's always going to be a reason for me to want to go. I mean, I've got a beautiful theater in here, and I still go to the theater. Clayton, most of the time it would be for a 7-inch carry while directing. Yeah, that'll be fine. For 7-inch carry, if you're not pulling focus. I mean, if you're pulling focus fast, it's going to possibly be an issue, not necessarily. If the moves are the same every time and your actor hits their marks, then it won't be an issue. And for a director, it won't be an issue. If they are fast moving and they don't hit their marks all the time, it could be a potential issue, but not for directing. Joel says YouTube is too cheap on image quality. 4K is, of course, better than the compression of 4K. But I wish there was an even higher settings. There are. Joel, if you haven't seen my video, find it. It's like 2 years ago on my channel talking about how to get YouTube to make a better video of your content. There are settings, there are compressions that you put in that will get you better out. And it really does make a difference. It really does. Then on 1080 is going to be a problem. They definitely, 1080 is not a great resource on YouTube, and there are ways to fix that. Definitely. Rusty Eagle says, I got to head out. Great stream. I look forward to seeing you in class. Yep. Reach out. If anything pans out. Yep. Reach out. We'll happy to do it. Clayton, I guess you could stream in 8K. I don't know that you can actually. I don't think they will accept it. I think they'll only take 4K, and I don't think you get enough bandwidth to make it happen. I might like to try that once, though. Let's just ruin my internets. Tank says, one question more, and to listen to you for other questions. I'm curious as to what you think of the battle over full frame 6K and crop sensor 6K. So can you elaborate on that? I'm not aware of a battle over full frame 6K over crop sensor 6K, unless you're referring to full frame versus Super 35, or are you referring to like the V-Raptor shoots 8K full frame, 6K crop Super 35? Let me know what you actually mean, because I want to answer that properly. Clayton says, better compression, but I'll be taxing with lesser Wi-Fi. Yeah, it's true. Spielberg sets the trend, says Ali, and you're right. Spielberg has such an amazing ability to visually see the movie before he shoots it. I don't. I have to really... I can see it as I'm shooting, but not before I'm shooting. So I have to visually make it happen before. Tank says, hey, beautiful country. Yep. Yes, it is. Okay, Joel says, I have not tried streaming in 8K, But I meant regular uploads. I could, of course, finish in 8K, but no one's going to watch it in 8K on YouTube. Yeah, that's true. However, 8K in makes a better quality 4K out. VP9, which is what Google uses to compress, works better with more data. So the more data you give it. So watch the video, because the video I go into it and I really go into detail. But the truth is, if you want a good quality 4K, put in ProRes. Upload a ProRes. It'll be a giant file, but a ProRes 4K video will get you a very good quality 4K output. 1080, no matter what you do, it's going to meh. But if you go, 1080 also suffers from a problem where they will not necessarily use VP9 compression. They might use VP8 or something else. The trick, and I don't know if it's still true, but if you will up-res your video to 1440p and then upload it, YouTube will forcibly use VP9. But again, there's an old saying in television, garbage in, garbage out. So give it the highest quality, highest bit rate you can into it, and you'll get a better quality output. Turkish food is in my top 3, says Ali. Turkish food is good. It really is good. There's a lot of flavor in there. Elysium says, media storage. I know it's a rabbit hole. It is. But what would you recommend for a large project storage editing 30 terabytes or more? If my standard answer nowadays is to get a NAS with 10 gigabit Ethernet. The reason is that you're never going to, I mean, I guess it's possible, but people rarely ever stay a single person editing. Eventually they grow and they get 2 people editing, which means if you have a 10 gig Ethernet based NAS, then 2 people can edit off of it quickly. If you just buy a Thunderbolt, then you'd have to share it, and then it becomes a pain in the rear. So I am going to be doing a video on all of my channels on the different storages, and I haven't done it. It's on my list, and I apologize. But if you want a Thunderbolt, I would recommend the Areca, ARECA Thunderbolt chassis. They have don't buy the 5, buy the 8. You can get that from B&H. You can get it on Amazon. If you do, use my affiliate link. The Areca, I think it's the 800 T3, I think they call it. I have a T2, which is a Thunderbolt 2 version of it. I've had that thing for 5+ years. I still regularly, it uses 8 drives. I have 8 12 terabyte drives in there. And that's hooked up to my MacBook Air directly. That thing still puts out 950 megabytes per second. That's basically a gig in and a gig out. It is a beast. For NASs, I would highly recommend the Synology. There is an 8-bay, I believe it's the 1819, I think it is, or 1821, something like that. It's an 8-bay Synology, and it has the included built-in 10 gig Ethernet. That's the important part. And those are expandable as well, but those are NASs you would connect up with 10 gig Ethernet. So that's kind of my rabbit hole. Tank says Super 35 sensors such as Komodo versus VRaptor full frame. Okay. I don't think of it as, what was your term, battle. I don't think of it as a battle. It is, it's a different flavor. So full frame gets you that wide field of view, and it gets you that increased bokeh that a lot of people want. But some people don't want that. Some people don't like it. Some people like the standard look of Super 35. I don't have a problem with either. This is, well, it's slightly larger than Super 35. The Komodo is slightly larger than Super 35. I don't mind either one of them. I have a field of view in mind, and no matter what camera I'm using, I'm going to shoot that one field of view. Did I lose a rubber foot? No? Oh, I did. Poo. It's like, it's wobbling. I gotta fix that. So I don't think there's a battle. I mean, as far as cropping in, when it comes to RAW, and this is what I explained to people about Red, when it comes to RAW, Red shoots compressed RAW. Therefore, you cannot do a full sensor scan and then bring it to 6K if it's an 8K sensor and call it RAW. That's not possible, because the way RAW, and this was described to me by my friend Graham, who is Mr. Codec, RAW, defined loosely by him, is the ability to go from your finished product back to the original data coming out of the sensor. That is the definition of what RAW is. So if you cannot get back to the original data, it's not RAW, which is a Blackmagic flaw. Blackmagic is not, because they bake in some of their Bear, you cannot get back because you can't undo what they've done. Red, you can go back, and real RAW, just uncompressed RAW, you don't have to get back because it's there the whole way. So the reason VRaptor is cropped is because they only do compressed RAW. So I don't have a problem at all with cropping in. I shoot the highest resolution I possibly can every time. If the client says we're going to do this in 1080, I'm going to shoot it in 8K if I have an 8K camera. If I have a 6K camera, I'm going to shoot it in 6K. Why? Because more information gives you a better outcome. So if I have 4K that I'm acquiring in and I'm outputting to 1080, that's 4 times the data. It's going to produce a better picture. On top of that, and I've talked about this before, the way sensors work with a Bear pattern is, although, let's just use round numbers, let's say an 8K sensor is 8K wide, 4K tall. It is not 8K of resolution of red, 8K of resolution of green, 8K of resolution of blue. It is a red pixel, a blue pixel, a green pixel, a red pixel, a green pixel, a blue pixel. It's a pattern. This pattern is called a Baird pattern, and they basically use it to generate the data off the sensor. And this goes back to why Blackmagic can't do it. But so to take that deeper, a 4K sensor that is Baird patterned, which all sensors are except for monochromes, you don't have 4K of red, you don't have 4K of green, you don't have 4K of blue. You have 4K of all three combined. So if you were to take, let me change that to 1080. 1080, you wouldn't have 2K of red, green, and blue. You would have 2K combined. But if you take 4K, 4 times the data, that means you have 4 times the reds, 4 times the greens, 4 times the blues. You will have solid real 4K to take down, or solid, you would have real 2K to output. Your image will be better, period. And that's the same thing, shooting 6K going down to 4K. Your image will be better than shooting 4K. 8K down to 2K will look better than 4K to 2K, 2K to 2K. All right. Hopefully that Cityform, Cityform that's kind of dead now. Fitzgerald says, I now export 6K footage for Instagram content at 1080, and I can't tell the difference. Am I bugging? You are not bugging, because Instagram's compression destroys footage. If you ever want to know what Instagram does to your video, upload the highest quality 1080 video you can to it, and immediately, when you do it to your phone, it will save the image back down. Go compare those two files. The compression that they put on there just destroys pretty. So no, yeah, I mean, Instagram, I wouldn't worry about it too much. We'll check your video, Joel. Thank you, Joel. Ollie says 12 people haven't liked the video. Ooh, good call, Ollie. Thank you, buddy. Joel says you can also, so, there's 23 people right now watching this. If each one of you were to click like, there's one. Each one of you were to click like, then we could have 20. Oh, there's another one. Good job. We could have 23 likes. We could have 24 if someone liked it before and didn't like it. Okay. Joel says you can also run very long cables for your 10 gig Ethernet server. Not sure how long you can run Thunderbolt now. Thunderbolt, you cannot run more than, I think, 6 feet. I don't think you can even go 10 feet with them. There is an optical Thunderbolt, but it won't work on data. Won't work on storage. Sorry for my nose. But 10 gig Ethernet, I can tell you for a fact you can go well over 100 meters. Clayton says, Monstro Raptor RELF for IMAX certification. I saw Dune in theaters last weekend, and I noticed it shot on the RELF. That is not IMAX digital or film sensors. That's correct. It was, they call it LIMAX. When it was not shot with an IMAX certified camera, it is a LIMAX, which means they're just using the projector to project a big image. That's about it. I like the RELF image. I think it's pretty. I couldn't notice a difference to films shot on true IMAX, and I'm wondering if the direction you were going to see with IMAX going forward. I mean, IMAX is always going to try to give you more of the experience. So it's not just about the acquisition, it is, but it is also about the content, making you believe it. There's absolutely resolution difference, though. IMAX and IMAX films, that is definitely got a higher resolution than a 4.5K LF. But there's very few IMAX projection film houses left. They're all digital IMAX. We're going to the highest we can get out. Tank says, Ali, as you are most likely know, Turkey is a melting pot of many various civilizations, from Babylonian to Sumerian to ancient Greece to Roman to Persian to Armenian. Food culture is very eclectic. Maybe that's why there's so many flavors there. I know Turkey has incredible quantities of spice available. It's very Dune-ish, isn't it? The spice. I love spices. Turkey has a lot of spices. Ali, Deep History, I've been twice. Nice. I have not been. I need to go. Wait, I am. Okay, I need to look at this. I think I'm misstating your name. Okay, it is Tank. Okay, for some reason I was reading Tark on this side all of a sudden. I agree over Raw's nativeness and compromised Raw, and I agree with you on that totally. There you go. Corey R., my new MacBook Pro came in. Way to rub it in, Corey. Way to rub it in. What'd you get? Did you get the M1 Max? I hope you got 64 gig if you did. Fitzgerald says Instagram is terrible. You are correct. Corey says, I switched from the M1 Max to the M1 Pro after seeing benchmarks and realizing the difference wasn't massive in real-world applications to justify the price difference and 1 month wait time. That's not true. That is absolutely not true. But it depends on what you're doing. If you're doing anything with ProRes, M1 Max blows away the M1 Pro because of the hardware encoders. Number two, the GPUs are being used. If you're using something that uses those GPUs. The Pro is just so much faster than M1 and anything else in the area. It's not the high-end Mac Pro and not a high-end PC, but generically faster that it's hard to see the difference. So people aren't hitting the limits yet. The Pro Max, it also 100% has to do with how much RAM you got. So if you got the Pro and you didn't get 32 gigs of RAM, you will not see the performance of the Pro because you will be consuming too much video RAM out of your shared RAM. Fitzgerald said, wow, what is this grain? That was weird. Instagram is terrible. Ollie says, Instagram posts are not bad. Reels are compressed to death. Fitzgerald says, liked. Thank you. Oh, we're up to 16 likes. 16 likes. Hey, Johnny Pets, how are you, buddy? You got any good scoop? I know there was a new Raptor firmware. You got any wink wink coming on the Komodo firmware? No, he won't share. Johnny, how's life, buddy? Corey says not doing heavy VFX and just editing on Final Cut Pro and personal projects on DaVinci 2. Then you're probably going to be okay, Corey. I mean, you did get the M1 Pro with 16. Interesting. You will find out. You will not likely find out until you start doing anything over 4K. So going over 4K, and really it's about 6K is where it starts to come in. But see, so I have the M1 with 16 gig. So that is 8 GPU cores with 16 gig. So each one could conceivably get up to 2 gig of RAM, except for the system. You have 16 with 16 gig, which means now only each GPU can get 1 gig of slice of VRAM pie. And I know it's not VRAM versus CPU RAM. It's shared. I get it. However, they still have to slice that up. And that's where the bottlenecks come in. And Corey, if you'd have watched my video on tech cuts, you'd know that. But I get it. I mean, if it works, it works. You know, there's no reason to have a machine if you're not going to tax it. So I get that. Corey says, where did you see the tests and the results from the M1 Pro versus Mac? They're deep dives in the YouTubes. It's some really interesting stuff and where it comes out. Where it comes out is over 4K. And anything that is long. So when these people are using these 3-minute videos and compressing them, or 3-minute videos and trying to play back, that's not going to tax it. It's when you've got five different edits on top of each other, 5 layers. You've got stabilization, you've got noise reduction. If you want to see where it really comes in, put noise reduction on your M1 Pro. On DaVinci Resolve, put noise reduction in, go to temporal, the first one, five frames, and adjust that and see if you can play back. That's where the M1 Pro Max comes in. M1 Pro Max, yes, that's right. The Max Pro Max Pro Max, you can actually play back stabilized and noise reduction in real time with the M1 Pro Max with 64 gig. It isn't Tank. I apologize, Tariq. Wow, sorry about that, because I kept seeing it. It's so far away, and I have really bad vision nowadays. I'm old. So I am sorry about that. Tariq, I got you now, and I won't mess you up again. Pleased to guide you around Turkey and host a mini cinematographer from the U.S. That'd be fun. That really would be fun. Tariq, try to come to decide what to buy for a short film between the C70 or the red Komodo. They'll currently use GH4 and Fuji X-T3. Depends on your style. As you know, or may not know, I don't know. Komodo is back here. Hold on, let me don't run over my dog here. Komodo is not designed to be an A-cam. So using it as an A-cam does come with some limitations. However, it does have that classic film look with its global shutter. You can absolutely use this as an A-cam. Just be careful of that SDI port. Follow directions appropriately. Komodo is a great looking camera, and you get raw. C70 is going to be more for probably a one-man band documentary style shooter that really needs the autofocus. I personally, and this is only my personal opinion, and it means exactly that. It's just mine. You should absolutely evaluate on your own and make your own decisions. I don't like the C70. I think it's just okay. I think it's a nice image, but for what you're getting, for what you pay for it, I don't think it's that great. I think it's good. I just don't think it's that great. I would choose Komodo over myself, but that's my shooting style. If you need autofocus, yes, Komodo has autofocus, but the Canon is going to be far better at autofocus, and it is more of a acquisition style camera because it has good audio in there. There's a lot more features built into it. That shooting style though, I really don't know why Blackmagic and now Canon has come up with let's go with a fat mirrorless style design. I don't like that. I don't know why. It's just me. Overall though, I think you're going to get 6K out of Komodo. You have a little bit larger sensor size on Komodo, not a whole lot. It's a little bit larger than Super 35. C70 is Super 35 4K. Dynamic range is actually going to be pretty comparable. Komodo is 15 stops, and I believe the C70 is also 15 stops. The codecs in the C70 are nice. This, you're going to get true RAW, well, true compressed RAW. So you got to weigh that stuff. This, you don't have, you just have basic audio in there, and it works. This, you don't have really high frame rates. You've got pretty limited frame rates. But, I mean, it just depends. Just depends on your style. Corey says, thanks for the insight. If it doesn't work, I can always sell it, return it. Fortunately, that's true, Corey. And it's the slice of the pie is where you'll end up with a problem. If you're doing 1080 stuff, you may never run into it, but go over to my Tech Cuts channel. I think there's a link on there, but just type in Balcom Tech Cuts. I just did a video last week, and I go into deep dives into the M1 architecture and where the bottlenecks will be, where they are, and where people are already seeing it. Ali says, Tariq, depends on what you need to shoot. Komodo isn't next day delivery. This is true. That is also true, although it's getting better. Red is definitely cranking those bad boys out. And I mean to tell you, I do. I know how many Komodos are out there, and it's a feat for Red to be cranking these things out. They are just churning them out. It is so many Komodos. It's wild. Fitzgerald says Komodo every time. Again, it's shooting style. I'm not going to ever make a decision for you. I will always make a decision for me on what I do. I can guide you a little bit, but I also don't think I would. I don't think I would shy away from your XT3 either. That makes a very nice image. I like that. GH4 is a little long in the tooth. It's a little noisy, but the Fuji XT3 is quite nice. I don't think I would. I mean, if I was on a budget, I might just shoot with the XT3. Fitzgerald says, agreed, Ollie. Yep. Tariq, thank you. Yep. Fitzgerald says, love my Komodo. Never looked back. I mean, it is a great camera. And what I love, I mean, there's a lot of things I love about it. One of the things that I love, and I know that Jared Land from Red loves it too, is that they were able to produce this thing at such a reasonable price that it's in the hands of people who would have never had a Red before. And I know he has said this personally, that putting cameras in the hands of people, no matter what amount of money that they have, is one of his goals, because he believes, and rightly so, that creativity comes from anyone. And it kind of mirrors what I was saying with the YouTube. Somebody with a phone can make something on YouTube. And now somebody with a limited budget, I mean, air quotes, can buy a Red Komodo and now have a Red in their hands using all the power that Red gives. So, yeah. I'm going to pull this forward. That's going to put it right at the bottom of the image. Terhe? Is that how you pronounce it? Terhe? I apologize. I'm really bad at pronouncing names, but if you would put it down there, I will say it properly. Trying to find files I can download to see if there's a big difference between Komodo and VRaptor. There is a huge difference. Do you know if there's anything out there? Switzerland, right? That's the flag of Switzerland. It's a tiny little flag, and I can't see it from here, but I think that's Switzerland, right? Hello. I hope it's Switzerland. If it's not, I'm almost as bad with flags as I am with names. So there is a huge difference between Komodo and VRaptor. VRaptor has far more dynamic range than Komodo, and it's pretty noticeable, even at 6K on VRaptor. Now, that being said, RAW, I don't think you're going to find much out there until Red puts something out. In the past, when Komodo was out and a couple of other cameras, people would put their RAW clips out there, and there were some people who took creative license to just take them and add them and post them and publish them and put them in YouTube videos. Some people even posed that it was their own work. I know numerous friends that this happened to, and so I think there are a lot of people now who won't do it. I will probably not release, if I do, and I don't know how to do it without just shutting down my Dropbox too, I don't think I'd release much of mine either in RAW. I'm not doing it to hide it at all. I'm doing it to protect my IP. Well, I guess it's creative IP. Vasily says, I bought a C200 instead of a C70 mainly because of the body. Yeah, it is a different, better shaped body. And the audio raw light is pretty good. Most of the corporate stuff is 1080p and MP4 files go straight to client. Yep, okay. I'm not a huge fan of C200. Comparing the two, the C70 is going to have better dynamic range, but the C200 has a better codec and a better body. So, yeah, it's. I mean, there's so many great cameras out there on the market, and I love what I love. I mean, yes, I own 2 Reds. I also own 3 Sonys. So it's not that I am in any way biased. I use what I use because it works for what I use it for. I mean, I do love Red, and I guess there's some bias in there. I do love the Sony because there's some bias in there too. But every single project requires a specific type of shooting, and that's why I have a variety of cameras that does that. C200 is a rock star. Yep. Yes, they're both good. Elysium says, thoughts on the Tentacle Sync for timecode. Tentacle Sync is fantastic. I mean, every time I've been on set, the sound guys always brought them, so I've never purchased them. I would love to do a review on them. I reached out to Tentacle Sync a long time ago, and I think they were just busy. But I would love to show how Tentacle Syncs work for everybody, because they just work, and they're pretty doggone tiny. And you can walk around with them and jam timecode, so you can plug it in, jam, plug it in, jam, plug it in, and walk around, and you can get a poor man's jam. That sounds like a really cool band name. Poor Man's Jam. But yeah, Tentacle Syncs are really cool. And then there's also, who is it? It's not Corey. Who's the Zoom? I think Zoom makes one that has encoding in it too. I think Corey did some work with Zoom. I think you did. I know you did, but I don't know if you know about the sync one. I love the softness of the GH and the high contrast of the XT. The GH, I mean, I had that camera. When it first came out, was that 4 years ago? And I liked it for outside. When there was plenty of light, I thought it made a beautiful image. But if you were at 800 ISO, it was noisy, and I was so much more impressed with the GH5. I thought they did such a great job on that. Fitzgerald says, and I love Gerald for it. We all do. We all love Jared. He's such a good dude. The only guy I can look up to. I mean, he's tall. No, I look up to a lot of people. Fitzgerald says, I wouldn't have been able to get a Red if not for the Komodo, and now I'm working enough to get a Raptor or something bigger in a few. That isn't that. I mean, that is the story that Jared would share. That is the story that he loves, he's just a big old teddy bear. But I'm gonna say that in a Texas accent. He's not Texas, but I mean that's the kind of stuff that would just make him smile and warm his heart, because he knows that he did everything that he could to help get it in more hands, which means the world is better for it. He's not changing the world. He's just trying to help the world a little bit. And good on him and everybody at Red. And, well, all the other camera manufacturers too. They're all trying. Norway! I knew I got it wrong. I was feeling bad about it. And then how do I pronounce it? I need to pronounce that now. Turgi? Is it Turgi? That'd be interesting. Norway sounds like it might be Turgi. I don't know. I know it's Norway. Norway. It's not Turgi. Now I'm saying Turgi until you correct me, please. Another beautiful country. Yes, Norway is very pretty. All of these countries, it's amazing. And they did a show on, I don't know which Travel Channel I think it was, back when cable was cable. And it was called Aerial America, where they would fly helicopters around and they would shoot the landscapes, and they would make a 1-hour feature on like all 50 states. And it was some of the most beautiful stuff. It was great. They should absolutely do that in every country and just tell a visual aerial story of every country. Because, I mean, everybody just sees what the most people see. So in Norway, you're probably going to have most people seeing pictures from where the most densely populated people are. So the cities. So you'll only see what the cities see, but there's a whole country out there, and it's amazing. Nation's good, not as good. Love the Aerial America. Yeah, there we go. Clayton, thank you for the super chat. Thank you so much. You're a fantastic supporter. I know you previously talked about this Sony Venice and its high noise floor. As an A cam, I'd like to hear your thoughts on its use. I have an A7S III as a gimbal cam, and I love the Sony image. I mean, there's nothing. Sorry, Clayton. Phil is working on that. Cool. I know what that means. Clayton, the Sony Venice is a beautiful camera. Yes, it is. It has a noise floor, and it is noisy, but it can make an absolutely gorgeous camera image. So as an A cam, it's a fine A cam. I mean, it's so much better than so many cameras. Think about them as flavors. So you have flavors of like Airy, Sony, and Red. We'll just throw those out there as flavors. Some people, vanilla, chocolate, strawberry. Some people like all the flavors. Some people like only certain flavors. All of them are really high quality ice cream or gelato. But some of them have different flavors than others. And it's a feeling. If you love Sony's image, then the Venice is going to be so much more than that for you. It's a very powerful camera. Stay tuned, because there's more coming on that front. But Venice is a gorgeous camera. I don't have a problem with Venice. Comparing it to other cameras, though, the Venice has higher noise than others. But its image is absolutely gorgeous. It has a great dynamic range. It's a great format camera, great resolutions, great speed, great formats of codecs. Good camera. But thank you for the super chat. And if you have any more questions on that, I'm happy to do that. The A7S III, you might try looking at the FX6 too. The FX6, which is an A7S III in a nice body, it is great. The FX9 is not bad. I'm just not a huge fan of the price difference between the FX9 and the FX6. I feel like the FX6 is a better value. But the FX9 is very nice. And then the Phil Holland working on that, yes. Aerial World, we'll try that with Phil Holland. Tariq says some of the footage for Aerial America was filmed on 15 perf IMAX, I guess. It's possible. I don't know. It is interesting to see the jump. And Aerial America was, what, 15, 20 years ago when they made it. So it was, a lot of it was filmed. There was definitely some that was not. Some of it, all of it looked really, really good. I don't know how wide. I mean, I don't know. Phil, you've probably researched that. Do you know what they shot on Aerial America? My gut tells me it may not have been IMAX. There probably was some that was used for other purposes. I know, like the Disney World attraction Soarin', I know they shot that with a really big IMAX film camera. You say the name well enough, but I don't know. I don't know if I was right. Turgi. I don't know what's right now. It's going to bother me forever. Tariq says, depth of focus is amazing on Sony Venice, as I pulled focus on it and love Sony F55 in Venice way more than Arri has, and there's much more down to earth. Yeah, Clayton, go back to my live streams with my guests from last year. Find the one with David Weldon, and I got to get him back on here. David, he shoots with the Venice a lot, or at least did back then. And there was a commercial for, I think it was Bentley that he did. And he was showing all the setups that he did and showing the amazing ability of Sony Venice. Even though it has a high noise floor, they shot it in really low light and pulled beautiful images out of it. Go back and watch that. And there's a lot of grabs that we talked about from that. And he goes into great depth, and he's a wealth of knowledge on the Sony Venice. And he's shot it a heck of a lot more than I have. So, yeah. Clayton says, I heard so much talk about the color science when I was learning and working, and ever since building an effective color grading process, it seems like color science at this point is a non-issue with modern grading. Well, it's true. It really comes down to how far can you push the codec. So a color science is all about getting a great image out of the camera. But if your codec is strong and it allows you a lot of latitude in grading, then it doesn't matter. Arri was built, the Arri Alexa was built to look straight out of a camera like Kodak film stock. They wanted film people to just go, whoop, bing, we're right on it, and everything is great, and I don't feel any different. I just push the red button, and everything goes. That's why they created that look, and it does shoot a raw or a log image that everybody can manipulate, but the only reason it's popular is because it was popular. That's it. I mean, if someone else had chosen a different camera and everyone jumped on that camera bandwagon, it would have been the most popular camera too. It just happened to be an easy conversion for film shooters to come over. And there's still people that just hate it. There's still film shooters that are like, nope. Clayton says, copy. I'll check those out when I get a minute this weekend. Thanks. Yeah, it's like a 3-hour interview. So, I mean, there's a wealth of knowledge. All of those are really good, Clayton, if you have time to go in and watch and listen behind the scenes. All of those guests were amazing. And there's a wealth of knowledge in there. I even had Phil Holland in there talking about his work for the Big Fruit Company. Which, by the way, the Big Fruit Company is no longer the world's largest company. Microsoft is now the world's largest company today. Maybe not tomorrow. Joel says, Phil, have you had a chance to analyze the upcoming Nikon Z9? That'll be interesting. I always imagine Phil putting this on in the background as his soothing, relaxing Scott voice to just play in the background while he works away at the 74 projects that he has in his mind at the time. And then I always picture him going, I want to say something. I don't want to say something. If I say something, everyone will know I'm here. If I don't say something, no one will know I'm here, and it's going to be great. That's what I always picture. I know Phil loves it, and he's such a great guy, but he may just be ignoring us too. Ollie said, we are still waiting for the new Arri and Blackmagic cams. November is a few days away. It is, and I don't know that they're going to make it now. David puts the well in Walden. It's true, he does. I just spilled. I mean, there's Phil. Analyze, no, but I did enjoy the announcement. Interesting. That sounds like a very Phil answer. Golly, I need a sinus pill. I'm just so glad the wind has stopped. I mean, the house, you could just like hear the trees banging against the roof. It was so much, lots of banging around, and now it's just quiet. And we seem to be doing really well with our quality. That's good for a change. Let's see here. Tariq says, whoops. Check out Pacific Rim by Guillermo del Toro, filmed in 5K Red Epic, and it looks like VistaVision or 70mm film show print. So lighting lighting. I was just, so my cousin is an up-and-coming filmmaker, and he calls me periodically for some tips and tricks, and he's really talented. He's going to be so much better than so many people that I know. He's got a lot, but he's focused on gear right now, and I told him, I was like, you need to focus on lighting. Lighting will make everything better. Everything better. It is, oh yeah, Phil did get hurt. Phil, you all right, buddy? You feeling any better? You icing down, or are you taking lots of leave? I completely lost my my train of thought. Oh, yeah. Wow, where was I going? Wow, senior moment. It was all based on Tariq's comment on Pacific Rim by Guillermo. Oh, lighting. Okay, so yes, lighting. I mean, it was kind of amazing. There was on a commercial I was on recently. The gaffer had done a tremendously beautiful job of lighting, and I would take a picture with my iPhone, and I'm like, my God, it looks so good on my iPhone because of the lighting, and that is absolutely key. So invest in lighting. Always work on lighting, and it's not always about adding light. Sometimes it's about subtracting light. It's all over the place. Joel says, Me Too was the first time I bothered to watch a Nikon event looking for a killer gimbal camera. I think the Z9 has some going for it. We'll need to pixel peep at some of it, of course. It is interesting, what is raw and what is not. Well, there will be raw soon, but not quite yet. That was interesting. But it's also not, yeah, there was a few gotchas, and I think they're only temporary gotchas on there. It's an interesting camera. I have several friends that are big Nikon shooters, and they like it, but they don't know if they're going to jump to it yet. He just likes to be close by. Lighting makes everything better, says Ali, and Ali is correct. Lighting makes everything better unless what you need is no lighting. Moonlight, well, that's light. So I guess lighting does make it better. Tariq says, for a simple talking scene in Pacific Rim, the cameraman utilized 8 Kino flows and 4 Source Lico power lights, in a 30 meter square area. I'm trying to think of I mean, to me, it's bring enough light for the scene, but don't use all the light. So put a light up, your main light, get it shaped how you want it to affect the area, and or if you're lighting the scene or you're lighting the actor for that, and then work continuing to shape that light. So if you have a hot spot somewhere else, shape it. If you want to add some fill in, shape it. Don't just add lights. I literally, back here, I add all these lights just for the color and for the quantity, but you don't need all that light. You can shape it. You can bounce card. You can do a negative fill. There's so much you can do to shape light. You don't have to have a whole bunch of light. And that is a video coming up very soon. Going to do an ultra budget lighting scenario. And we're literally talking shower curtains, black fabric, and some very affordable lights, just to see and to show that you don't have to have the most expensive lights out there either to get the job done. So Tariq says, okay. We're all caught up on questions. Whoa, that rarely happens lately. Oh, no, there comes one. Tariq, yes, top light by Kinos were shaped by black wraps. I do like the overhead. I love the where they do a bank of Kino flows with a grid, and then they put a skirt around it. I love top-down lighting. That looks so good. Did you, Tariq, did you see the way that they were lighting? It's probably not a show you watched. It's more of an American thing. Was gosh, I've already lost it. It was the Netflix series with the president and the first lady and how they were all corrupt, and the way that somebody will write it down in there. It was actually the one where Jude Geraci did the time lapse for the beginning. That was the intro. The way that they were lighting it in like seasons 3, 4, and 5 is they would extend the set way up high. So they would do like 10 or 12 foot walls on the set. Then they would go up an additional 4 feet. House of Cards. Thank you, Ollie. Ollie in there for the save once again. And then they would extend on top of it, and they could bend these down, and they would shoot source 4s, all Lico lights, ellipsoidals, and they would shape the light to hit just the white above and bounce all this light in. So they created a very, very soft, but they could shape the light by bouncing the light off of these overhead cards. There's a lot of really cool behind the scenes stuff on that and how they did it. That was such an interesting approach that I didn't think about before until I saw that. And then you also got Deakins with his giant ring of lights where he just lights the whole room. And I know that Shane Hurlbut did that too. It was a ballroom scene, I think it was, and he just lined the entire perimeter with par lights, and they would light them on in various ways to create and it just created the most beautiful looking light. A lot of control. So it's a lot with where you point that light. But yeah, House of Cards. It was I enjoyed House of Cards. You can't really enjoy the actor anymore, just because the actor was weird, did some horrible things, or potentially did horrible things. I can't accuse. But yeah, I enjoyed that kind of show. But it had a very flat look to it towards the end there. It was kind of weird. Tariq says yes. I think I've watched it. Deakins likes the batten strips of lights, bulb under. Yeah, that big one that he did, I think I heard some order of like 260 lights around in a circle. That was wild, but he loves that stuff. And yeah, Hurlbut likes the batten lights. And I still have my Hurlbut original kit of batten lights back when Hurlbut was doing his it was doing his in-person training. I'm going to run over you, dog. Be careful. Oof. Trying not to move my chair because it'll run over his feet. And I went out and bought all the tungsten lights I could get. There's these are the 65 watt BR30s, and these are the good ones for the batten lights. And I have 12 of these. I mean, they're hard to get. Tungsten lights are hard to get, and they do make a beautiful image. And then I have an 8. It's up there at the top. It's an 8 light batten. In a beautiful chrome. Dog, you are going to get hurt, buddy, and I don't want to hurt you. You're my puppy boy. You're a good boy. I should do like the dog cam and just aim this thing at the floor. I cannot aim it at the floor. All right, then. Let's see. Tariq says, muted colors with harsh, soft lights and how, yeah, exactly. The muted, it was muted for sure. And have you noticed? So I've watched Invasion on Apple TV. Also, so far, pretty good. I've been watching. What's the other one? Oh, another one. There's another one. It's along the same lines. Foundation on Apple TV. Both of those are similar in how they're also a good show. A little hard to follow. Isaac Asimov is very difficult to follow. But what I've noticed is every new show on Apple TV gets a specific color of Beats headphones. So at every time, no matter how muted the colors are in the whole entire series, when the Beats headphones come out, the colors aren't muted anymore. It's rather funny because I think Foundation was yellow. Ted Lasso had red. Every single one of them has a different color Beats. I find that the product marketing there is rather hilarious. Was amazing of Shane to give away his course away for free during COVID. It's true, and it's a good course. I took it live and loved it. I'm a much better learner. I'm much better at learning in person, visualizing, seeing, and then also when I'm able to ask someone, okay, I saw that you did that. I saw you told me the intent of doing this, but I want to ask, what made you think to do that intent? That's the question that makes my brain work properly, is I want to understand what a DP or a gaffer who's following DP or a director or even a set designer, what in their mind made them think, for this, I want to have a very dark corner, and the reasons behind that helps me understand. Tariq says, I made a par out of LED batten strip, and they created a very spotted, strong, and such as Robert Richardson's halo light effect. I did one up there. I bought these really high quality LED strips that had a really good CRI, and I built my own dimmer. Yeah, I didn't build my own dimmer. It's all parts, but I put it all together, and I made this really long strip, and my goal was to create several of these to light the green screen perfectly even so that it would work. And it's sitting up there. I was like, oh, these are really great. Oh my God, they go so bright. Didn't realize I could over voltage them, and I burned them out. They were really bright though for a minute. Pedro, hey from Brazil. Hello, Pedro. Tariq says, I'll watch Foundation as I'm a huge fan of Ivy. It's hard to follow. I mean, but I also love sci-fi and that kind of stuff. So it's interesting. And it's one of those where they're only releasing an episode like every week. So you get a few that you can watch and then you got to watch some more. But I also like Invasion. It looks okay so far. There's only 3 episodes into that one. The Foundation, I think we've got 7 so far. Luca, hey Luca, again, you've been here since the beginning. I have built my batten lights too based on the Shane design. Yeah, those frosted bulbs are hard to find, but I managed to get 40 from eBay, 65 watts, 30-degree spot. Wow. Yeah, there's a light bulb store online. I think, don't quote me, and I do not have a coupon code. I think it's 1,001 light bulbs or 1,001 lights, something like that. You can still buy them there. You have to buy them, go into the amusement category. So it's interesting. There's not as many as there was. I have, like the beer garden lights where they hang them string lights that they hang outside. A lot of them are LED now, but I have, all of mine are tungsten. And they are 11 watt tungsten. So they're not super, super bright. Because if you were to hang 60 watt bulbs, my God, number one, you'd fry your lights, electrical wire. But I mean, that's a lot of light, unnecessary. But 11 watt bulbs are amazing. And I bought 100 of these things, or I think about 100. And they're amusement bulbs. So the lifespan, so the filament on there is like 5 times larger than it should be. So these things are rated for like 20,000 hours. A lot of amusement bulbs now are LED because they do the colors and all that. But if you go into the amusement section, you can still find tungsten bulbs because they're classified as exceptions when they are in amusement. So there you go. Clayton says, have you seen the CBS Now Paramount show SEAL Team? I have not. I have not seen that yet. The cinematography is excellent and with often handheld and locked off shots with a lot of mixed environment. Lighting with an excellent image and story. Interesting. I'll have to check that out. I'm looking for another show since I'm having to wait between all these other shows. And also, have y'all seen Charles Pappert? He's been on here, the live stream. He's a friend, and he invented the ZGI. What it is, it's an interesting device. So he was a big Steadicam operator for many years before he became a DP. The ZGI it goes on top of a Steadicam. And it creates a handheld look on Steadicam, and it's wild what it can do. And it was interesting seeing at City Gear, seeing the feedback that he was getting, because people are like, "Why would I want this?" And he shows them, and they're like, "Oh, interesting," because you can do more than you could do with the Steadicam, because it doesn't have a sled hanging down. It's not a long pole. It sits on top and it floats. But it's suspended, basically. But it's also not at all a electrical device. It is 100% like a Steadicam. It is 100% spring and balanced and torsion and cough coming. But it is really interesting that you can get this kind of handheld look while still floating a Steadicam. So you could float in and then immediately get that Steadicam look, handheld shoulder mount look. Really wild. Luca, careful with multi-shed. Yeah, exactly. I have to dinner 10. It's 11. Dimmer. I was like, I don't know what you mean at 10. You have to eat at 10 o'clock? I don't know. Dimmer. I have a dimmer 10, 11 each bed. Okay, yeah, cool. Have you seen The Dig? I have not. Tell me about The Dig. I don't know that one. Oh, you did. You told me about it the next A film about Viking relic found by British archaeologists starring Ralph Fiennes. Fiends? I don't know. Bad with names. I think the wide angle shooting style, such as Terrence Malick, nice, is to be frequently used. Oh, that'll be interesting. I'll check that out. I think I did hear about that. There was something else I heard about Viking lately. Somebody was doing something, Vikings and aliens or something. It was weird. Charles also invented the 5-hour stream. It's true. We're going to do another one. We are going to do it. And we're going to do it with a little bit of alcohol. So we'll see. You know, the streams are doing really well, stability-wise. I'm going to reach out. I'm going to see if anybody's ready. Sorry, not a Viking relic, but an Anglo-Saxon relic. Interesting. It's a very beautiful film about the human spirit. I like that kind of films. Visually feeding. Now that's a good term. I have not heard that term that way, but I like the way that works. Visually feeding. Yeah. That's a good term. I might use that a bit, because that to me states it is visually, it's continuously giving you more and more and more of what you want, which is what feeding sounds like to me. If it was a visual cookie, somebody might just take a quick bite and you're done. But visually feeding, I like it. Words matter. That's always been my thing. Everybody that tries to say, oh, well, you're saying this. No, words matter. I'm actually saying what I'm saying. I learned English from movies. You're doing well. I like visually feeding. I think if it was not on purpose, it's now on purpose, and you get credit for that one. It's a good analogy. I like that. Joel says, okay, I need to go up early tomorrow. Enjoyed the usual. Bye. Thanks, Joel, for stopping by. I appreciate you. Tariq says, sorry for my way of expression. No, I like your way of expression. I mean, it took someone who learned English from movies to create a way to describe something in a way that translates perfectly. I mean, it's neat. I don't know. Maybe I'm the only one, but it's I really enjoy. I read people's words exactly as they say them, so that I don't misinterpret what people are saying. And to me, I would almost guarantee what I interpreted from what you said is exactly what you meant. Okay. Does the M1 series mark the death of the external GPU for notebooks? Oh, for notebooks? Probably. I used the Blackmagic eGPU on the 2016 15-inch 20 MacBook Pro, and it's amazing to bring desktop power to an older notebook. Yes, there will be no eGPUs for the laptops. That's not going to happen. So does it mark? So what Apple is doing is, I was just talking about this with some friends, and I'm sort of under NDA, but I'm going to say it's going to be hard for them to enforce it now because I don't work for those companies anymore. In my IT days, which was not too long ago, I had privilege of, in my architecture of huge companies and corporations, I had the privilege to get to see roadmaps way out into the future. And what's coming, and this will be 2 generations away for Intel and AMD on the server side, not the desktop. The desktop will be probably 3 or 4 generations, but probably now that Apple's doing it, it might push a little faster. But what we're going to end up with is blocks of CPUs, blocks of GPUs, blocks of memory, that kind of stuff. And so you will buy a block of CPUs that do a specific type of processing. That's all going to kind of get, it's going to get merged a little bit and fuzzy over time, but you're going to buy a block of this, buy a block of that, buy a block of RAM. All of it will share through a fabric, buy a block of storage, and that's what we're ending up with. This is what we have with M1. M1 is that architecture. It is a shared pool with blocks of different stuff. They just ARM, which basically was a system on chip, they just figured it out how to do it quickly, fast, and small. Apple figured out how to scale it beautifully. And GPUs are not going to be what GPUs are in the future. They will be blocks of processing that will be catered to graphics, or what would be next for graphics. We will have processing blocks, we will have memory blocks, and we will have lower speed memory blocks too. All of this, it's all going to be interesting. Luca asked, what Leica light do you use? Aperture. I use several. Aperture is one. I use the Aperture Spotlight. That is back here. That is the light that is casting this right here. This is the mini blinds that is blasting from right here. That's a Aperture Spotlight. I use that a lot. However, I also have a Source 4 ellipsoidal tungsten 750 watt back there that I use, like multiples. And although they're extremely hot, you just can't beat those for capability. They're very hot, but yeah, I have those back there in the storage. And I love those lights. Those are great, but I use that because I don't burn myself a lot. Tariq says, thank you. I like syntax of words as well as images. Yes, exactly. Clayton says, as of 3 minutes ago, got the email from Red about for the new Touch. I'm excited to bring the same DSMC Touch experience through to the rentals to the Raptor. Yes, so it's a little different. The menu is a little different, but definitely that experience that you had with DSMC 2, other than the where is this, which won't take very long at all, it's back and it's wonderful. It's really good. They did a great job. Small HD did a great job making the monitor. It's good. Has everybody clicked that thumbs up button? Has everybody done it? Come on. Now's a moment for you to take and go ahead and click the thumbs up button because you care and I care. Let's see here. What else? Who's got questions? Who's got comments? I'm loving the conversation today. It's cool. I love the worldly conversation that we're having, but I love the different people in the community with different takes on everything, sharing. It's really what this community is about. And I thank Clayton for being a great associate producer of the channel. He's a member of the channel, and I also appreciate Ollie out here for, as usual, keeping the show honest, keeping the show on track. And he also has and he just does it because he cares, and I care about that. But he also gets rid of people who say dumb stuff in the chat just to get attention. He's our worldwide moderator and official timekeeper for the Scott Balcom live stream. So yeah, let's give everybody a round of applause. Let's see here. Thank you for the kind responses you get. No, I love sharing. It's one of my favorite things. Wow, really? There's no one on the chat? Did we just start blinking out? No, we're good. That's weird. YouTube says that there's only 4 people watching. That's weird. Are there 4? Everybody say something if you're watching. I want to see what happens. Just type a letter. It doesn't matter. YouTube gets really cranky at times, and I found that when I was using StreamYard, it was better at keeping numbers. I would find that Oh, that's interesting. As soon as y'all started typing, the viewers went to 10. That's interesting. It was at 4. And then it's like, nope, now you got 10. Interesting. That's wild. Yeah, StreamYard did a much better job of keeping track of that. I could actually see it. Okay, let's see here. And thank you for everyone for typing. Thoughts on the often criticized grade for Matrix Resurrections? Well, I don't know. I don't know because I haven't seen the actual movie yet, because I know a lot of times the trailers get a little bit different feel. I'm more interested in what it's going to look like. I really want to see what, or not visually, but like the story. I'm invested in the Matrix story, so I'm interested to see what they do with that, because the story will have to play into the color grade. So people may be criticizing it for what they see. A, it could just be that the trailer has been Hollywooded so that it looks better. But B, what if the color grade matches the story? And that's a little deeper thought right there. That people say, oh, okay, well, that could be, because we've seen in movies, like we saw in the Harry Potter movies, it was colorful and beautiful in the first movie, and then as the show gets darker and darker over the episodes, it gets more muted and more gray and that kind of feel. Same thing with the Matrix. Matrix started getting greener, and it's a little different. And then at the end of the Matrix, it wasn't green anymore. So yeah, 10. I see 12. Oh, hey, King. Good to see you out there. See 9 from Norway. I personally quite like the new grade based on the storyline presented in the film. And see, I don't know, Clayton. I don't know that that's the story. I think they're screwing with us. Because I've heard so many different takes on what that storyline is. And I think it would be just like them to mess with us a little bit. I don't know what our story's going to be yet. I'll be interested to see. King says, finally ordered my Komodo. Not thrilled that I need to get a Canon glass for autofocus, but I'm excited for... No, Sigma. Sigma 18-35 works grand. It's gorgeous, and it works really, really well for the Canon, or for the autofocus. So Sigma and the adapter, yeah, it's a no-brainer. Lucas says, I don't watch trailers anymore. Lately, they spoil too much. I mean, there's nothing worse, and I mean there's nothing worse than watching a trailer, and then you go and see the movie, and you find out that like every good scene was in the trailer. Every funny moment was in the trailer. That ruins everything. I don't like that. I feel like my audio is a little hot. Is my audio hot? It might be hot. Let's see here. Tariq says, agree on Matrix. Is it a Canon XL2 standing on the desk behind you? Right there. That is a Canon XL1. Yep, that is ding. Canon XL1. Love this bad boy. One of my first real cameras. Yeah, it's a good camera. I love it. Yeah, it sits on the back. I got a few others back here as well. I'm just afraid one day this is going to fall. Got my XL, what is this, the 14? What is this, the 814. Got my 814 8mm, and this one does work really well. Let's see here. Oops, I left it on. It may not work at all now. Let's see. Auto. May not. I think I killed the battery. Should not leave that on. Pretty funny. Oh, it does work. Look at that. That beautiful sound you can only get from... I collect that kind of stuff, not because it looks good in the back, quite honestly. I mean, I put it back there, but I collect that stuff because it makes me feel cool. Like my typewriter that's back there that you can... Yeah, there it is. This old IBM typewriter right here. It makes me happy. So I have one there. Just like right here, I have the old telephone. It makes me happy. The backlit keyboard classic manual typewriter back there, it makes me happy. And that's what you should do, is surround yourself with things that make you happy. Let's see here. There are actually mini trailers at the start of the trailers now. I've noticed a trend. I mean, I would love to be there myself. I wish I was so big on YouTube that I could do this. But I've noticed a trend now where a YouTuber will be paid to make a video. And in that paid video, they put in a sponsor. And that just cracks me up. I'm like, now that is meta. That is what Facebook is all about. Facebook is all about corralling everybody so that they can present ads to them. That's meta. That's Facebook. Have we reached the end of the 20 minutes with mini season episodics? Many long-running sitcoms and dramas now have reached their end, where we usher in a new wave of long-running... Well, I mean, when you don't have to fit into a time slot, yeah. I wish I didn't have the sniffles. The other thing, though, is I'm not sure it helps. I don't know. Let's see here. Shows and episodics on Netflix and other streaming platforms. Yeah, I mean, streaming doesn't have to conform, so they can do whatever the heck they want. My guess is, though, that they would love to just divide them up into small ones because they get more content for the same price. Check the trailer. Beautiful camera, XL1, first series in the first series of Matrix. Okay. Neo says things look familiar. But like a dream in the new one, Neo asks Trinity if they met before. So it's probably a retelling of the Matrix in a new blue-green color. I don't think so. If it were, then Neo would have to be the architect. But then Neo wouldn't be there. I don't know. I think... I don't know. I'm trying to decide whether I should say... I think they're faking it. Let's put it that way. I think not the directors. I think Neo and Trinity are faking it. But also, I mean, we know Neo dies on the end of the third one. So how is he back? And what level is he back? And how is he back? Is he only back in the Matrix? And therefore he is an architect? Or what? Yeah, I don't know. King says, where is the Atari? Right here. If you didn't notice, all of these are all Atari games, all over there. It's for a future thing that's coming. So it's there. Go ahead, double down. Go ahead, double down. Ask your next question, King. Lucas says, great form factor like a Bolex. If Red comes up with a similar design, we'll jump on it. I don't think they ever will. I don't think Red likes to do anything like that. I think they like to build form and function, and form follows function, I think. Did you hear the gimmick obsession in psychology? Some psyches say it is the fondness of a true camera guys for a camera gadgets. No, interesting. I mean, to me, I think it's just nostalgia. Nostalgia. People always so like high school age. People always have fond memories of high school age. Yes, they may not have loved high school. They may have been beaten up or whatever. Like I was. They may have not, but they remember the age well, and they remember the fondness, and they remember the feelings. They remember the music, and nostalgia kicks in at some point, and you just start feeling all that stuff, and it just makes you happy to go back to. We call it simpler time. People want to inject whatever they want to inject into it, and depending on how old you are, is how that will represent nostalgic wise, like an answering machine that I have right over here that I showed on previous live stream. Some people have no clue what an answering machine is or does. And so they won't click to the nostalgia of it. But it was a time when you didn't have a phone on you. You didn't have a cell phone. There was no such thing. So an answering machine was how you allowed someone to get a hold of you when you didn't want to get a hold of. I did this rant a while back. I'm pretty sure I did it on one of the things, but we lived in homes. Then we came up with a telephone so that we could get a hold of people when they weren't where we wanted them to be. For instance, work. Work could now call you at home. So then we're like, wow, this is getting out of hand. Let's get an answering machine so that we can be reached when we don't answer the phone, because people didn't always answer the phone. So then we're like, woo, that's too much. Let's get a second cell phone. Let's get a phone now in our pockets so that we don't have to answer that phone or pay attention to that, or a beeper, as the case may be. And then the bosses would say, well, we need your beeper number so we can get a hold of you when we can't reach you on your phone and your answering machine and your beeper. And then we just keep going and going and going. And it's a weird, wild world. Clayton, thoughts on Facebook's rebranding to Meta? I believe, this is my gut, I believe Facebook is on a downward trajectory, period. People can say politics, people can say everything. Everything about Facebook will cause it to self-destruct. And I think we've already seen it happen, and I see people doing it. I didn't jump off of Facebook because of what Facebook was doing. I jumped off of Facebook because of what social media is doing. And so I feel like, Instagram already rebranded themselves that they're not a photo app anymore. That was your entire purpose in life. But we want to be TikTok. You're not TikTok. TikTok is TikTok. Yeah. Every time they jump out of where they continue to undo and unravel what they've already created. So I think we're away. I mean, it'll be a while, but it's done. It just doesn't know it's done yet. And honestly, I think Facebook's rebranding specifically so that they could say, what do you mean Facebook? I think you mean somebody else, because we're Meta. We're not Facebook. All that bad stuff you heard, or all the this and that, no, that's Facebook. We're Meta. Yeah, it could be. Gregory. Let's see. Nice name. How to determine whether to rent a camera or buy it? Well, I mean, if you need the exact same camera all the time, then at some point you have to ask yourself, should I just buy this instead of renting it? If you're going to continue to rent it to the point where it would be cheaper for you to buy it, buying it might make sense. If you need a different camera all the time, you might choose to rent because it might make more sense. You can't afford to buy everything all the time. Tariq says versions. Matrix creates a new versions of Neo, and so probably Architect. Yeah, probably. Comes up with another tougher version of reality for Neo to fight against. But what if Neo really is the one, and he's not just the 13th version of the one? What if he really is? Yeah. I read that there is a thing not defined as a psychological disorder, of course, but they call it the camera obsession. Nostalgia is another thing. Interesting. I don't. I mean, I have a lot of obsessions with things that I collect that my wife would go. I mean, basically anything that sparks a joy in my heart, I have a bunch of them. So, for instance, back here on the wall, there's a mechanical clock. Back here, this clock right here, this was my favorite clock growing up. My grandfather loved clocks, and it, in tune, made me love clocks. And this is a mechanical key wind clock, and this hung in the room that I always slept in when I would visit my grandparents' house. I love this clock, and when he passed, I got to have that clock, and I love this clock. I have that clock. I have this clock. I have about 7 clocks in there. I love mechanical clocks. I love them, but I also love clocks. I have typewriters. I have a little bit of a typewriter obsession. I don't have as many typewriters as, say, some, but I mean, I do have 5 typewriters. That might be an exception. Obsession. Tariq says, this has got to do more with a curiosity of how things work, mechanics. My own personal experience, that is, I collect films and lenses and cameras. Yeah, mechanical things truly keep me excited. Need pun book. Yes, we do. We need a pun book where you can only speak in puns and riddles. That would be really good. And Kevin, you'd be one of the first people on there. Clayton says, use this for an IR filter in the map box. Okay, that'll be tough. Well, it depends. Okay, hold on. Let me rephrase that. A lot of the DPs I've worked with directing have, by default, an IR filter in the map box. I'm sorry for a stupid question. Okay, so if you look at Blackmagic footage, straight out of camera, if you see a brownish tint to it, that is IR invasion. It is basically infrared light that is sneaking into the sensor and muddying it up. A lot of cameras, Reds, have a big stack of their OLPF, which is optical low pass filter. And what that does is it keeps visible light from this spectrum and this spectrum only to go through the sensor, where IR is infrared, and then you've got the other side of the non-visible spectrum. I don't know, whatever it is. So what an IR filter cut does is it keeps your exposure from being destroyed, and consequently, depending on how bad your IR contamination was, it can make your image disgusting. So you should always use an IR filter with ND, because you're typically with a lot of light in those scenarios. So it'll help clean it up. And with digital filters that don't have IR filters on them that are really good, like the Blackmagic has a horrible IR filter in there. I mean, I don't even know if they have one. They may not even have one at all. Their OLPF is not good. But the IR filter, go look at infrared contamination on just Google and Blackmagic, type it in, and you'll see it. It's a brown, ugly color that shows up. And it's not that it's brown. It's just that's what the infrared light did to that sensor's ability to capture. So that's why you would do it. And so that you see on NDs, you'll see an IR ND. If you have a Blackmagic, absolutely should be running an IR filter. Absolutely. Tariq says, I love clocks too. Recording time in images, words. Yeah. I shot something when I first got, not this Red, but the DSMC-1. I shot a short film called Clocks, and I've never released it. It's probably 85% done. And, I think I need to revisit that one. Let me just make a little note for myself. Clocks. Get it done. And I could shoot some new stuff with it, but I shot it all with motion control and red and all my physical clocks to try to tell a story of why I like clocks. But to me, the heart of it was the tick-tock is the heartbeat of time. Yeah. So you get it. That's why I love clocks. Pedro says, I'm considering step up from my old mirrorless Sony system. What should I do? Red Komodo with a cheap light or BMC 6K Pro Sony FX3 with better light? Commercial work. Again, I'm only going to tell you what my style does. Let me think on that for just a second. Those are three very different cameras because their use cases are different. This is a stripped down A cam, I would call it. It's actually a crash cam. It's not intended to be an A cam, but it does A cam stuff. So it's missing a few features that a lot of people might like in A cam. However, if you don't need those features, which are high frame rates, that kind of stuff, this is a glorious camera. The FX3 is a Sony a7S III designed for filmmakers instead of photos and film. The FX3 is a low light 4K machine. The Pocket 6K it's definitely a filmmaker's camera, and it definitely doesn't do much at all of photos. I don't think you can shoot a photo on those anymore. Can you? I don't think so. And they all have different qualities, but you're upgrading from your Sony mirrorless. So you say commercial work and take better light out of it. Tell me what kind of work you do, and maybe I can help you towards a better choice there. Clayton says, do you write scripts on the typewriters? I do some. Just wondering if you work on Final Draft, fade in, narrative, commercial scripts, or do you write with your typewriter? I write some stuff with my typewriter because distractions get in my way big time. But I'm a fade in is who I write. I don't like Final Draft. I do fade in. I like fade in because I can work with it on my phone. I can work with it on my iPad. I can work with it on my laptop, and it all shares. I like that. But it doesn't really matter what you write it on as long as it flows for you. There's not everything I couldn't write everything on a typewriter. It would just kill me because I make a lot of mistakes. Typewriters are forever. But I tend to do my typewriter writing when I need to be completely disconnected from everything. To let my brain kind of do its thing, and it's for some sci-fi-ish stuff. Tariq says, back to techie stuff. I bought matte box and rods and a base plate for my mirrorless cameras, but only used it once or twice, not to burden my back. I got back pain. Yep, I know the back pain. I have 5 fused vertebrae back here. I understand it. So do you think I should keep them in case I might use them for the Red Komodo? Let me ask you a question. What matte box do you have? Because I did a whole video on matte boxes probably 3 years ago. If you haven't seen it, you should go watch it because I show the difference between a cheap Chinese, a medium, and a high quality matte box, and why you throw this one away, you will use that one a little bit, and this one you use all the time. I mean, I'm using a matte box right now. Tariq says we used to use a lot of those when we filmed on Super 16 back before Red emerged. I mean, a matte box is designed. Well, I mean, you ultimately end up today with a matte box, filter holder, sun shield, all kind of in one now as a matte box. It was originally designed to control all the light leak from spilling onto the film, now sensors, and to keep glare and various things from happening. Small rig, all of them from base plate to matte box. So small rig is okay stuff. I don't dislike small rig, but their stuff is fairly cheap. I don't think I would have a small rig matte box unless it was literally all I could afford. I don't like the Tilt-A-Matte box. I don't like the who's the one that what's his name? Peter McKinnon is all partnered with. I can't think of that. They're now making filters in matte boxes. I don't care for. I'm gonna grab a couple things real quick. I don't care for cheap stuff because you end up buying cheap stuff multiple times, and then you end up buying the good stuff. And I don't know how much money you got. If you got a lot of money and you can afford to keep buying stuff, then it probably doesn't hurt as bad. But eventually, it's going to hurt. I have owned these for a long time. This was my first matte box purchase, which is a Viv from Bright Tangerine. And the Viv is a multi-stacked, expandable matte box, and it is carbon fiber. It weighs nothing. And I mean, it weighs nothing. This is their Clash 138, which is their Pola Plus now, which has a Rotopola in there. It also has a French flag on the front. This is based off their Misfit Atom, which is a rubberized front. It weighs nothing, but it is exceptionally powerful. And on this one, you stack your filters in the front. You can stack them two in, like in front of here. And I have a Misfit on the A7S right there. And I do that so that this light that's hitting my back of my head doesn't hit directly into the lens, which did some funny things. This French flag on the front, but this has a rotatable second stage on it. So you can rotate in here, and then you can expand this out to 3. You can stack 3 in there. This is a clamp on. This is also a swing away. It does everything. I bought this once. I spent a lot of money for it. I cried when I bought it because I spent a lot of money for it. But I've never had to buy another good matte box again. And I mean, the reason I have multiples is because they do different things. This one is a lightweight, and this one is when I want to put a polarizer in there and I rotate, but I need something really, really lightweight. That's when I run this. When I need something exceptionally lightweight, I just use the Misfit. But when I'm shooting commercial and everything where I'm on tripod, this is the one I'm using. So the old saying, buy once, cry once, really helps. When it comes to the small rig, I don't think it's something that I would keep around for very long, because it's just not going to serve you well for very long, and it's not as versatile very long. This thing I can expand, and I could convert it to do anything that I need. Their new kick is really nice, and so I tend to be, and I have a Chinese one in there that I spent a lot of money on, and then I had the Tilt-A-Matte box after that, and I kept the Chinese one to remind me to not buy that anymore. And then the Tilta I sold. But it really comes down to, I buy it once and then I don't ever have to think about it again, because this will serve me forever. I mean, until lenses get bigger than the 155 millimeters here, this is going to serve me forever. Polar Pro. Thank you, Clayton. Yes, Polar Pro is the brand. They have a cheap, inexpensive matte box with a cheap, inexpensive filter system. And it's cheap and it's inexpensive and it's not going to serve you forever. It's going to serve you for then. This, I never got to buy again. Serves me once, or buy it once, serves me forever. I chose it because it's $140 in the lightest. Yes, that's why we all do it, because it was the cheapest. Ollie says, I felt cheap buying the small rig. Then I saw Toya using it and it made me feel like a commercial filmmaker. Yeah, he also has others too. Tariq, Turkey is going downward economic since dollar rises here, so I may be broke in a year if I get no work. I understand. Tariq, start a YouTube channel and teach filmmaking in Turkish. You know, it's not bad. Do it. Pretty niche. You seem very knowledgeable. Yeah, you definitely have some knowledge and a lot of stuff you could share. You could do lighting breakdowns. I mean, I don't speak Turkish, but I would subscribe to it if I could understand what you're visually saying. You would be visually feeding me. See, worked it in there. What's his name? iPhonedo. He does that. He has iPhonedo, and then he has his iPhonedo Turkish channel. I mean, why not? Try it. I had the cheap swivel, but it what does it say here? Thank you, Elysium and Scott. Yep. I got the Bright Tangerine Misfit Atom for $250 on B&H on a flash sale. Yeah, if you're looking for the Misfit Atom, which is basically this one, watch B&H. Every once in a while they do the flash sale for $250. It's a $500 matte box, but it's $250, and man, it's amazing. I've seen that sale probably twice a year, and it's a tough one. I'm doing it for a week, Ollie. Thank you. I love movies and books, so probably we'll do a YouTube channel on classic Hollywood films and philosophical issues. Yeah, do it. But give it more than a week. It takes a long time to build an audience. If you follow trends, you can build your audience fast. I don't follow trends at all. My audience builds very slowly, but as you can see, everyone in here has a good time. Everyone in here loves talking about this stuff. Everyone in here loves filmmaking and telling stories, and I grow my channel that way, slowly and purposefully, specifically to get you wonderful folks on here to talk to. It's great. Follow me. I will post videos in English as well. Okay. I will be your visual feeder. You should do a name based on that. Visual feed. The visual feed. Try that. The visual feed. I like that. Misfit always comes down in price on Black Friday. It's not always, but it's pretty close. It's definitely not a guarantee, but it's pretty close there. King says, Scott, are you upgrading to V-Raptor or the XL? I'm going to do V-Raptor, not XL. The stuff that I shoot, primarily, I don't need a fully rigged out cinema camera. I usually these are the configurations that I'm normally shooting these cameras in. There's a few things missing, but I shoot them light. Wow, that weighs so much more than Komodo. So yeah, I am definitely in the V-Raptor, not the XL. But the XL is going to be cool because it's going to have the electronic variable ND. Ali, proud to be part of the first 1,000 M&Ms. Tariq says, no, I already filmed 4 to 5 videos, but not uploaded yet. I can wait for the audience to pile up. Just upload them and let them be. Just upload them and let them be. That's the best way to do it. Pedro says, sorry about my English. Not a problem. I do not mind at all. You have to put up with my bad pronunciations. Mostly shoot restaurants, products, and small local commercials. But I try to tell stories of my film influences this way. So here's what I would tell you to look at over the ones that you mentioned. And I don't know your budget, so if they're too big, then I understand. Look at Komodo, but also look at the Sony FX6. I think my gut tells me the FX6 might be a best fit for you, but I want you to look at it and see, because the FX6 has everything that you would need built into it. The FX3, you'd have to add a bunch of stuff to make it work. You don't need to do that with the FX6. This, you're going to need to add some stuff to it as well. But these are really good for food. Food looks so good with a RAW format because you can go in and tweak every little color perfectly. But, I mean, look at the FX6. I think it might be a good fit for you. It's very difficult to find red in Brazil, and it's always been a dream to work with the system. I mean, if you can get it, you can get it. If you can't, you can't. I mean, you got to work with what you got for sure. Tariq says, thanks, Ollie. Where are you from? Ollie is from the UK. He stays up extra late. Right now, it's what is it, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 12 o'clock there? Ollie was always having difficulty keeping time when I was doing my 5-hour interview. Because he's like, I'm so tired. But he was in there the whole time. Okay, so it's 6 o'clock here. Very shortly, in about 4 minutes, my wife will be walking in. And when she does, I will be bidding you all farewell. So if you have any last questions... Oh, it's 2 o'clock? Oh, wow. Thank you for staying up, Tarek. That is Tarek. Wow. I've got Vince, I can't even speak. Malik. I have Malik in my brain right now. And so Tariq, let me get it right. So anybody got any last questions I can throw in, or your last opinion or thoughts or anything? Happy to answer if I can, or who's got last 12 people, 14 people can click that like button, that last little thumbs up on me. Never been to the UK, but I love visiting Germany when I can. See, I've never been outside of the US and Canada, and 2020 was going to be the year I got my passport and everything to go travel. That didn't work. Germany is the place I want to go. Switzerland is the place I want to go. Sweden is where I want to go because I'm a quarter Swedish. England, I definitely want to go. I'd like to visit France, Turkey, Istanbul, Greece. Where else? I would love to go to Africa. There's a couple others. You should sell the Canon XL1. No, not selling the Canon XL1. Elysium, thanks, Scott. Love your streams, info, and insight. Cheers. Thank you, Elysium. I appreciate it. Clayton, thanks for another great live stream, Scott. Again, informative as always, and had a great time. Thank you, Clayton, and thank you again for being a channel member, an associate producer, nonetheless. One of the highest honors and ranks around here, and so we give Clayton lots of pats on the back. Thank you for doing that. And I will respond in email. It's my email is going crazy. Istanbul, yep. Oh, Dr. Bozy, maybe? Or Dr. Bozy, I don't know. Could be doctor. Hello. Tariq, Istanbul is the most terrible city in Turkey. Okay. And is Izmir? Probably Izmir. And Cappadocia? I don't know. Well, Istanbul is not terrible, but too overcrowded. Yeah, crowded. I would like to see India, too. India is an interesting place that I would like to see. Looking forward to it. No worries, man. Have a good evening. You too, Clayton. It's late for you, isn't it? No. You're in the same time zone, aren't you? No. Yeah, you're in the same time zone, I think. Or maybe you're just one ahead. Izmir. Interesting. I look forward to learning about Turkey and your filmmaking insights on your channel, Tariq. And I'm going to see if I can, let's see, where is it at? Go. What? Oh, come on. I just want to click on you. It won't let me. All right. I'm going to copy and paste this. Do you have a channel yet? Let's see. I don't see one. Oh, wait. I do see it. 4 days ago, you posted something? If that's you, wait. Yes, it's you. It matches your thumbnail. But I subscribed. You now have a 4th subscriber. There we go. Show. Okay. Okay. Have a good stream. 5 p.m. Okay. Oh wow, you're earlier than I am. Okay. Look at FX6. Yes. Pedro, I think it might check a bunch of boxes for you. Check out Cappadocia. I think around 2 million Americans a year come to see it. Wow, cool. Pedro, come to Brazil. Brazil, that is a good place I would like to see. I would love to go down to South America. Brazil, and what's the one all the way on the west side of South America? The really long, narrow one that has the really high mountains? I want to go there too. I'm planning to go. Ollie says, yes, text me a message when you get here. It's on my list. Let's drink some. I don't know what that is. I have to look that one up. See what that is. Turkey is a great country to visit and wonderful people. Brazil, Machu Picchu is Lima is my dream destination. Nice. Argentina, yes. Patagonia is south, right? Andes Mountains, yeah. That's one of the places on my list as well. You're always welcome down north here. Banff, I didn't get to go when I went to Canada 2018, and I was going to go back in 2020. I plan on going now, not this year, but next year. I plan on going up another one of my really long journeys and going to Alaska. And I think what I'll have to end up doing is flying my wife to Alaska, picking her up there, and we travel Alaska for 2 weeks, and then fly her back down, and then I can drive back down, and then I will go to Banff. Banff is going to happen. Morocco, yes, Morocco is another good place. Very, very good. Man, you guys are all on it. Yes, but I will come visit up north. I like Canada. I tell you what, Canada was truly as what's the word? Stereotypical Canada as possible. Every single person I ran into was as nice can be. I had a 20-minute conversation with a lady at a convenience store. It was truly hilarious how stereotypically nice Canadians actually are. It was kind of funny. Let's see. I grew up dreaming of Alaska, watching Northern. I love Northern Exposure too, but that wasn't shot in Alaska. That was shot in Washington. I love Northern Exposure. Glad we held up to the reputation. Now, the only thing I don't like about Canada, man, gas prices and beer prices. Now, beer, not for you, Clayton, but I mean, man, there's some tax on that. Whew. It was very expensive to drive through there. But also, your freeways are not freeways. They're just like 2-lane roads that cross Canada. I was expecting like an interstate, and no. Is it a coincidence that filmmakers love to travel? Makes perfect sense. Well, we're visual storytellers. We love things that visually awe us, and what better way than every time we open our eyes and see something beautiful. Tariq loves Morocco. Very beautiful. I'm thinking it's Tanzania, but it's not. I don't. Tunisia. I can't pronounce it. Is that the one that's on the east coast of Africa, or is that 10? I don't know. I had a friend that was from the one on the east coast of Africa. And Tanzania is the one I'm thinking of. Tanzania, the accent from Turkey, Tanzania, that kind of that's Mediterranean, right? I don't mean to offend anybody if I got it wrong, but that accent, that the strong, when they speak English with that accent, it sounds so interesting, and I don't know. It's kind of like Americans when we turn on TV and we hear somebody with a British accent, and we're like, oh, they must know something because they've already figured. It's kind of like that way with like that Mediterranean style accent. It's like, oh, I want to listen to that. That's let's see. Grip Tip. Hey there, what's up, buddy? What are you doing? Grip Tip's in the house. Y'all know him. Y'all need to go subscribe to him. Everybody love him. He good. He good. He eats too many cheeseburgers. He eats a double. Tariq says filmmaking is about exploring. So yes, travel is part of the exploration. Yep. Clayton. Yeah, we have highways with 2 lanes for hundreds of miles. I know. And you don't have like 7% grades. You have like 30% grades. It was wild. Yeah. What's up, Grip Tips? Come on, Grip Tips. What? You can't talk about what you're working on, can you? You can't talk at all about what you're working on. He's as goofy in person as he is on set. You know what? Let me share the picture, because I got to meet Dave for the first time, and I'm going to share this picture. Let me send it to my iPad so I can share it. But this is all about Dave. Not that one. Not that one. Not that one. Is it that one? Yes, it's that one. So let's send this to here. We're going to go here. We're going to open that. We're going to full screen that. And there's Dave. There's Grip Tips Dave and me enjoying a cold beverage. He's sitting on my lap, and he's got a bony rear end too. But Dave is every bit of a goof in person as he is on his personality online, which is great. I like real people. Tariq says, I can guide you in Turkey and Morocco for a shot of whiskey. All right, deal. Sorry I joined late. No problem. Any thought about the Suri Zoom? It's okay. It doesn't interest me. If you look at it, it's not. I don't know. I mean, anamorphic. It's a personal feeling. You have to feel it. So if it speaks to you, then that's fine. It doesn't speak to me. It speaks a little boring and a little forced. I don't know how to properly phrase that. It felt like, let's try to get as much anamorphic as we can in this lens, but not necessarily the purpose of anamorphic. Yeah. Mediterranean. Good. Got it right. Okay. Grip Tips Hop. Tariq says, from Italy to Greece to Turkey to Algeria, Mediterranean is very unique and related. Yes. Yes. Grip Tips. Yeah, I can. I just wrapped The Voice today. Ooh, he's on The Voice. Was that where you were on your little scooter going underneath the stage? I believe so. I would guarantee that was you there. He's like, ha ha, oh God. We love us some Dave. You know what? We need one more Dave. You want to see why we don't give Dave? Well, there was so much fun there. Look at all that. Is this it?
So he came to us, he goes, can we make
Okay, let me send this here, and then I'm going to mute this, hopefully. Yeah, there shouldn't be any audio coming from it. Whoops. What just happened? Did it go there or not? It didn't work. What? The video did not show up. Let's try that again. In one iPad. There we go. Okay, so here we go. Here's Dave. This is why you don't give a grip access to a camera. That's the V Raptor there. He's just tasting it. No, I don't. Or that's Komodo. That's Komodo. Yeah, he's just tasting Komodo. He wonders. He's a curious thing. Those grips are curious little animals, and you gotta keep them trained, keep them well, and there we go. There's my grip tip share-a-thon for today. Working on a pilot Monday, then back to The Voice on Tuesday. Me loves some Ollie. The Fernie Dolly, yes. That photo is like a weird Santa's No, not the nudes. Don't show them the nudes. Oh, I won't show them the nudes. No, not at all. Goofiness of a raptor liquor. Oh, that's Dave. Dave is the genuine article. He's just good people. I like good people. I wish I could have Dave on my channel more, but Dave and I are going to fight with the unions. I can be on Dave's show, but Dave won't invite me on Dave's show. But Dave can't be on my show, not unless I pay Dave. Damn unions. Urgh! Classic Dave. One day we'll figure it out, Dave. We will. And then when I go back into California, we're going to get into some trouble, man. We're gonna go lick area Lexus. We're gonna have some fun. All right. Anybody got any last questions? Oh, she isn't home yet. That's right. She had to buy some packing tape. So you get a little more of me. A little more. Who doesn't want a little more Scott? I want a little more Scott. Well, no, I want a little less Scott, actually. Hello, Tommy Chase. How are you, buddy? Tommy is also one of our fine channel members. If anybody wants to join channel, you just click that join button and you're a channel member. Grip tips. I hope so, because I really have been dying to collab with a few. It kind of sucks, honestly. You only really want to collab with me, Dave. One should not collab and tell. You can't just collab around. You got to be committed. All I can do is oh, thank you, Tommy. Thank you, Tommy. You're so wonderful with your super chat in there. I appreciate you, buddy. You caught me. Why do I feel like Dave's live streams would be 18 hours and end with a channel strike? You're not wrong. Kevin has left the building. Oh no, bye, Kevin. Bye. Probably, as promised. It's very thoughtful of you, Tommy. Yeah, I feel like, no, Dave could not go 18 hours. I think the longest conversation we ever had on the phone, well, it was not phone. It was video chat, Zoomish kind of thing. It was like 3 hours, wasn't it? We both ended up well inebriated. We learned about the STC. You can't type that in there, Tommy. Can't type that, Dave. Tommy can't type it either because he doesn't know STC. But Dave right now is laughing his rear end off, and I mean it, because my daughter came in and described STC to Dave and I while we were on video chat, and it's been a thing ever since. Yeah. Dave could not go 18 hours. That's what she said. Yeah, she did. She said, oh, I could be so mean to Dave. She's, that's what she said. No, what she really said was, really? Tommy, yeah, we were just chatting, Tommy, because Cynthia will be home here in just a few minutes. We were kind of closing it out. Dave with Grip Tips came in late, and we just started messing around, having some fun. 180-degree rule. Yeah, don't break it. I realize it this time, Molly. Hello, everyone. Missed a lot. I'm from Morocco. Nice. We were just talking about Morocco, and it's 12:19. Just got home. We literally have a completely international and Dave live stream tonight, and it's nice. It's cool. All these people we have Brazil, we have Turkey, we have UK, we have Morocco, we have Norway, we have Canada, we have Dave. It's like we have an eclectic world invitation list here, and Dave. Okay. All right. She is home. I hear her. So I am going to be ending it. Dave is from outer space. No, Dave, don't you throw an outer space reference out there. I know where you're going to go. It's a planetoid. We need a secret society of ours. You know, we could do like a secret handshake. I don't know what it would be. It would be something film related. Our secret society should be the got it. When you hand a lens to someone and they go, got it. And they, I don't know. Be funny. 180-degree. We're just wrapping up. We went 2 hours and 51 minutes and 26 seconds. And I mean, it's a good one. You should definitely watch it back. Lots of comedy, lots of fun, lots of answers and questions. It's good. It was a great one. Planetoid's handshake. No one took the bait, and I appreciate that. I can't say it because it'll block me out. Yeah, it'll end in a channel strike. Right. Yeah. So yeah. Everyone, thank you for joining in on the fun. It was fun. Your afternoon drive home. I appreciate each and every one of you being such great friends, just chatting out here. Damn, YouTube on cell data keeps giving me well, you count as a new connection every time you connect. But all of you for being such a great community of filmmakers and friends and storytellers and just great conversationalists. I love it. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much for dropping by and spending your afternoon with me. And remember to support me down below with any of the affiliate links if you want to order anything. Also, Scarf Dust. If you didn't see it, this is Scarf Dust. So if you're looking for one, go to revarscine.com and you can use coupon code Scott Balcom and save 20% off of Scarf Dust. Review coming soon. This is what Scarf Dust does. Yeah. And as always, as I like to leave it, don't let your passions center around your life. Let your life center around your passions. 180. Thank you. I just have to wait 20 seconds so I can put my end screens in there. Summarize: Facebook bad, MacBook Pros good. We love Turkey, Norway, and every other country on the planet. Red Komodo for the win, and Dave from Group 2. It's pretty good, Ollie. Thanks again, everyone. Y'all have a fantastic weekend. Bye.